Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Fanshawe Accounting Association YouTube video. My name is Nick Bell, and I'm the class representative coordinator for the FAA. Today, we have a video on Excel functions. First things first, make sure you stay connected to all of our social media. That's right, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Discord. Any general questions, send it to our FAA Gmail account. The purpose of this video, to learn multiple Microsoft Excel functions. That's VLOOKUP, data sort, its function. These are very crucial to know in the accounting programs and classes, and you'll use them even further once you graduate the Fanshawe accounting program. So today, not only myself as part of this video, but as you can see, I also have a very special guest, Jane Cannell. She was on a previous video with us, and we're very lucky to have her. She knows way more Excel than I do, so I thought I'd bring up the big guns and have her join us today. All right, here we go. First one, VLOOKUPs. Now, this one can be a little bit complicated. And of course, I'm going to show you a very simple example here. So it gets way more complex than this, but here is a good base to start with. Okay, so as you can see here, let's just look at the meat, for example. So we have all this data, and then of course, think about if there, pretend there's a ton of different options here, like hundreds or thousands. Well, you want to see what the amount of pork is, okay? So again, it gets way more complicated than this, but again, a simple example, we're gonna use the VLOOKUP. So we're gonna VLOOKUP, get the function here. So first it asks VLOOKUP value. So I wanna find out what the value is for pork, okay? Comma, I'm gonna do the table array. So that is not the headers, do not include the headers, but include the options and the amount, okay? Now I'm gonna do column index. Okay, so the meat one is column 1, whereas the amount is column 2. Okay, so I want to know what the amount is. So I'm going to put column 2, hit enter, and there you have it. It comes up at 60. Okay, so you can see how that matches. So you know that's right. Okay, now there's another option to the VLOOKUP, and you can see here I did not put in this range lookup, and that is basically Excel's asking how picky are you. Okay. So when we go over to the second example, we have a bunch of fruits, okay? So you'll see now my apples, this apples and not apples, okay? So we're gonna tell Excel whether this matters to us or not. So if it does, if we want exactly to come up as apples, then we're gonna do the same thing. So it's gonna be VLOOKUP, whoops, we're gonna pick apples, of course, then the table array. Index number is amount, so we're gonna do 2. And then, so if we want it to be exactly say apple, then we're gonna put in false, okay? But what's gonna happen is there's nothing in here that says apple, so it's not gonna like it. If we change this to true, then it's gonna say, okay, as long as it's similar to this, so since apples is very similar to a singular form of apple, it's not exactly the same, but it's similar enough that says, okay, that still counts, and it brings in the value. So VLOOKUP, again, very basic example, but you can use this very complex. All right, time to do some sorting of data. Now, here we have a ton of data here, and it goes on and on and on. This is from my Accounting 50/20 class. So huge chunk of data here. And of course, there is way more than what I'm going to show you to manipulate this stuff, but some of the basic stuff, here we go. So say I want to put in order of, let's say, customer name. So I'm just going to click one of these. Doesn't matter which one I click, blah, blah, blah. Ann Bloom. I know Ann, she's a nice lady. We're going to sort it as ascending order. Okay, and then there you go. Now it goes ascending order. So that means alphabetically from A to Z and go down. Of course, if you want to change it, you could go descending, right? And then you'd start and you'd have, it starts with Z, okay? So that's cool to start with that. So you can do that with any, you can go in state, you want to sort in state, okay? Ascending, there you go, okay? So that's very simple. Add a little more complexity. We're gonna hit the same sort and filter button. We're gonna go under custom sort. Now you can have many different levels here. So we're gonna start with the country, and then we're going to go city, and then go state. Where's state? There we go. And again, we can change the order if we want to. We can change the sort on font color and conditional formatting, so have you. You can play with this as much as you want. As I said in the last video, Excel is so powerful and so endless with options. So play around with it and see what you can come up with. But here we go. We have this here. So then I hit OK. Then you can see that we started with, where's my country? It starts with country in ascending order, and then it goes down, and then you'll see it goes into, of course, it's a huge piece of data, so it takes a while to load, but then it goes into, again, the state and then the city, okay? So that is data sorting. Again, very basic. However, gets you a good start to evolve into many fantastic things within Excel.
Hello, everyone. And now we're getting our first look at the if function. This is wonderful. I actually use this one quite a bit. So I have this little bit of data for you. I have a listing of salespeople over here and how much they've sold this month. But I want to know, are they going to get a bonus or not? So they need to reach $28,000 in sales before they are able to get a bonus. So even though I can look at this list of 8 people and, mark that off, if that gets to be a lot of people, that's a lot of work. Excel can do all of this for me. I'm going to start in by typing if. And I want to know if my monthly sales is greater than the sales target. Now, I'm also going to hit F4 here and absolute reference this. This is so that when in my next step, when I fill down the column, that cell stays, and that's what it keeps being compared to. So if the box is true, I want to type yes, and I'm putting that in quotes there so it knows just to write that. And if it's false, I really don't want anything at all. I just really want to see the ones that are what I want. So Nick Bell, yes, he sold lots more. So I'm going to double click on this little square at the bottom and drag it down. And it tells me that out of our 8 people, 6 have sold more than 28,000. Now, if I were getting really picky and I didn't want those zeros in there, instead of nothing after the comma, I'd put a pair of quotations and it would do that. And same thing, drag it up and down. All right, so that's the first step, and that's a great step. But now I want to know, how much of a bonus do I have to pay them? Now, my sales reps, they earn 10% on any sales that they get over 28,000. So here's another if. So if this is equal to yes, because these are the guys getting a bonus, then we're going to get the value over 28,000, and we're going to multiply that by 10%. Then if false again, that's a 0. All right, there we go. And that's how much money I'm paying out this week. So the only people who are left out are alcoholic and truly scrumptious.
All right, thank you so much for watching. And we hope you enjoyed this video. Here's a few more functions and a little more complex than last time. Last time we were just doing shortcuts, but here a little more complexity, and hopefully this helped you. So I'd like to thank you so much, Jane, for coming along. The FBA really appreciates your assistance. And again, if you have any questions for us, make sure you connect with us on all of our social medias and our email. Thank you so much, guys. And thank you, Jane.